invite anyone in the world to lunch, I think it would have to be Susie Chan.
Chris Boardman. So I did a team time trial with some mates of mine last year, and we finished 3rd or 4th, I think. I was just surprised because it was just a bunch of us who go out and train together, and we beat and finished up with a bunch of teams that do team time trialing a lot.
For me, my proudest accomplishment has to be the 30km Bear Grylls race that I did a couple of years ago.
So on my bucket list, definitely do Paris-Roubaix, the route of Paris-Roubaix, all the cobbles, finishing the velodrome. There's a challenge I think happens the day before the pro race every year. And I've done Mont Ventoux twice before. I'd like to go back because there is a 3rd ascent that we never got to go up last time, which is from Sceaux. But I've been down that route, so I want to climb that before I kick the bucket.
For me, some of my bucket list races are the Marathon des Sables, and I'd quite like to go and do the Barkley Marathon as well. I think an ideal place for me to go and train would probably be over in Wales. It's got decent amount of hills to it, and I don't really get them around here.
I've always wanted to go to Club La Santa in Lanzarote. It's like a big sort of sportsman's resort that caters for all sorts of sport, and there's plenty of good cycling routes out there. More realistically and a bit closer to home, probably Wales, sort of out of the valley, so North and West Wales. I've heard is really good for cycling. One piece of advice for a new starter would be just to enjoy whatever you're doing, whatever sport it is. Just enjoy yourself. If you're not enjoying yourself, then what's the point in doing it? Unless you're a pro and you're paid to do these sort of things, you've got to do something that you enjoy in your spare time.
The main piece of advice I would offer to anyone starting up running would be just to go and enjoy it. Have fun while you're out there. I think this one for me would be the Barkley Marathons. It's a bit more of a difficult one to get into, so something I'd definitely like to give a go.
I'd definitely love to compete in Paris-Roubaix. It's my favourite race of the year to watch on TV. I'd love to go out there and do the course sometime and watch the pro race from the velodrome where it finishes at.
For me, after a race, I really crave anything that's quite salty. Quite like sweet treats as well, but the salty ones are the ones that I go for the most. Probably
McDonald's, but that's because it's the easiest thing to sort of get to after a race. Travelling home, you can always pass a McDonald's. Short-term jelly babies, you always got to have a packet of jelly babies in the car after a race. Something nice after a hard effort makes that effort worthwhile.
For me, my goal this year is going to be trying to get a marathon PB.
10-mile time trial, personal best.
My go-to drink after a race is just a bit of water with a bit of lemon juice. Nice and rehydrating, and also tastes pretty good.
I always like to go for a Science and Sport Rego chocolate protein shake. It tastes nice. Just drink a pint of it in one, and it helps my recovery.
The thing that really started my running was the Couched 5K, which I started after I decided to give my housemates treadmill a go.
So my dad was a time trialist when I was younger, so from about the age of 5 to 10, I can remember going to watch him do time trials. I was sort of in the local area. I'd go with my mum, we'd park up somewhere and watch him race. Then when I was about 16, 17, 18, started going to spin classes at my local gym. Really got back into cycling then, and then when I was at university, I had some money left over from a grant, and I bought my first road bike, and I haven't looked back from there since. Slow, short, and easy. Short-lived. attack.
Other sports I take part in are pole fitness on a regular basis, and occasionally I will go and join a spin class.
So the only other sport I have played and still enjoy now is rugby union.
Well, this one's an easy one. For me, it would be a nice meal, some coffee and some games. Video or board game, doesn't bother me.
So my ideal rest day would consist of getting up, maybe having like a couple extra hours in bed, getting up, chilling on the sofa, watching the TV, playing some games. There's generally nothing that requires too much exertion. It's a rest day after all.
My favourite season has to be autumn.
Spring.
For me, my preference is off-road. It's a lot easier to enjoy yourself and not find it so boring.
Road.
My sporting idol is Luke Taberski.
Climbers, any climber, someone like Mikhail Nievy. I just am in total awe of how those guys get up the mountain.
For me, this has to be the Goo Energy Waffles. They're a nice bit of kind of almost proper food, but also with the benefit of an energy gel.
So my favourite nutrition to take on the bike are Science and Sport gels. I know a lot of people have issues eating too many gels, but I can have a lot in a day and still be fine, so they're always my go-to. I find it difficult to eat solid food on the bike, so a gel that you can just squeeze and it's gone is ideal for me, really. So my favourite YouTube channel is GCN. If you found us, you probably know what GCN is. It's Global Cycling Network. Has a huge array of videos all about cycling. They also have sister channels that do mountain biking and triathlon and electric mountain biking as well, if you're into that.
I think my favourite YouTube channel has to be the running channel.
Okay, so my favourite sports film is Pantani, The Accidental Death of a Cyclist. So it's about Marco Pantani, who was Giro Tour double winner in 1998. All about his struggle with drugs, both performance enhancing and recreational.
For me, my go-to sports film is The Ultimate Triathlon by Luke Taberski. My favourite sports book is heavily connected to my favourite sports film, also by Luke Taberski, and is a book called Chasing Extreme.
Between the Lines by Victoria Pendleton. We're going to cover that in one of our book club episodes coming up, so keep an eye out for that.